And they're going to cut it the other way. And Josh Williams will walk in. Touchdown, Tigers.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, as always, joined by the Budman, Buddy Songy, here from Old School Barbecue. You see the shades, if you're familiar with this program, you know why we have them on. LSU drops a game this past weekend in Tuscaloosa. The final score was 42-28. LSU had to be perfect on offense, score every drive to try to keep pace with Alabama, whose quarterback straight looked like Lamar Jackson on Saturday, had 4 rushing touchdowns. LSU could do nothing to stop him. Coach Brian Kelly, who you will hear from later on this program, said if they look back, hindsight 2020, they should have used a spy to kind of contain Milroe. Yeah, that's pretty obvious now, having dropped their second game in the SEC, now moving to 4-2. The SEC West out of reach. Bama looked pretty good, but beatable. LSU just couldn't execute in the end. Welcome in the Bud man, who's feeling spicy, I know.
Spicy on this Tuesday morning. We are now taping on Tuesday mornings. Hope everybody doing, yeah, the sun did come up today. By the way, Kim Mulkey and the Lady Tigers, another lesson in life. You get the perks, you get the money, you get the rings. How many times has John Brady told us, not how much success you have, how much you can handle. And obviously, 2 things on this Tuesday morning. LSU couldn't handle Jalen Milroe on defense. The defensive coaching has been foggy all year long. And Kim Mulkey and the Lady Tigers got beat 92-78. Give Colorado and their coaching team and their players credit. They deserve that victory. But once again, as most people know, the football, such a disappointment, because now you start to worry about basic coaching fundamentals that are not showing up every weekend. And we will dive into that. But it is absolutely ridiculous and not good enough. When you got a $2 million house in the press box, he has spied Harold Perkins before. That's how the kid made his reputation last year. You remember him spying down Bryce Young, Arkansas, all those quarterbacks, and yet Brian Kelly lets them go without spying. No halftime adjustments. It stinks with the coaching, and I'm just being honest here, folks. That was a half-ass, ridiculous defensive effort from a coaching standpoint. And, oh, by the way, Alabama, as we would expect, got the calls in the second half.
That's certainly right. We'll look at one play in particular, Budman, with a targeting call that wasn't. Jane Daniels gets hit right in the chin, doesn't get the targeting call, does get roughing the passer, so send that tape into the SEC officials. Brian Kelly didn't appreciate the call. You thought the replay officials had lots of time to look at the play in real time in Tuscaloosa. Jane Daniels out for the rest of the game. Nussmeier comes in, goes 5 for 10 at that point. Offensive was not very effective, couldn't run the football. As you mentioned, never really got into the run game. Look, Alabama's big on both sides of the line, experience on both sides of the line. Milroe, who it was pretty obvious in the second quarter, he was not going to throw the ball all over the yard, but was absolutely hurting LSU's defense with his legs. A spy should have been an easy call, especially when you have a Harold Perkins sitting right there for your use. Coach Brian Kelly said, look, we have spy worked into our defense. It wasn't like something we had to make an adjustment at halftime. We just didn't make the call. Well, Bud, man, it's time for somebody else to make the calls, because that should have been obvious that Milroe was not going to hurt you with passing. Yes, you drop 6, you drop 7, you rush with 4. He ran all over the LSU defense and took Harold Perkins out the game. Yeah, he had the sack. He was second in the team in tackles with 8 total. But not good enough in the hole. Didn't play the run well. Still getting beat in coverage. Had a ball that went over his head out into the flats and went for 40 yards right before halftime. Thankfully for LSU, Jaden Daniels went an outstanding 1-minute drive before half to tie it up at 21. Come out, get the ball in the second half. Do take the lead, as you saw right there. Josh Williams in the intro took the lead at 28-21, but couldn't stop Alabama's offense, And like you said, the adjustments just were never made by man. But A bright side, bud, man.
Yeah.
A bright side. The Saints did win this past weekend, moving themselves into first place in the NFC South. They knocked off the Bears 24-17 behind a great, outstanding performance by that defense, led by Poche who had 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, and 3 pass defense. A great job by that secondary for the Saints.
Yeah, they got 5 turnovers and tried to tinkle the game away. So I wouldn't be bragging too much on the Saints. But they are 5-4, and
Yep.
as you alluded to, the worst division
Yep.
in the NFL. They do lead that. And look, any way you get to the playoffs, I think it is certainly pertinent for Dennis Allen and certainly Pete Carmichael to be able to say that. But back to LSU, the Florida State game and the adjustments in the second half, it was embarrassing. They led Ole Miss 49-40 and gave up 2 scores. Led Alabama 28-21. And I know people around town have been talking about this and probably saying it a little bit more eloquently than me, but you keep talking about elite and what Brian Kelly is going to be saying in his press conference. I don't know if we're seeing elite coaching. I'll give you a perfect for instance. There was an inside linebacker earlier this year. By the way, a true freshman. Whit Weeks is his name. And, man, he was running through the A-gap. He was knocking quarterbacks on their butt. Not like Dallas Turner. He was doing it legitimately. But we hadn't seen Whit Weeks since Omar Speights came back. And Omar Speights played on skates. Sorry, Omar. I like you. Good pickup from AZ State. But he should have been sat down the way he played on Saturday night. Then you get into Deshaun Womack, kid that's a defensive end. They let him play 5 plays about 3 or 4 games ago. He had a sack and he impacted the game the other 4 plays. Hadn't seen the field since. Harold Perkins. You think Harold Perkins is growing his brand with this kind of crap that they're putting on the field with that strategy? Guess what, folks? There's going to be some players leave the transfer portal if they continue to coach like this. And it's not just because they're 6-3. Everybody out there knows that LSU had to rebuild this secondary, and this has been a tough rebuild. The best thing I've heard all week long, JP, to talk about it is that with LSU beating Alabama last year in Tiger Stadium, what that probably did was kick up a notch or 2 or 3 the expectations for Brian Kelly and LSU football. It's going to take longer. You got to do better in recruiting. Got to get some big uglies. But here's the most frustrating thing to me out of the whole shooting match. Tigers are playing on defense like they belong in the Big 12.
Yeah, right. No,
they have lost their physicality, DBU, and instead of having dogs on that defense, they got pussycat Tigers. And they need to look in the mirror, get bigger, stronger, faster. They need to coach better. You hope that they run out and go 9-3 and then win a bowl game 10-3. Right. But LSU is not the physical team that they have been in their heyday. And if you want to beat Georgia and you want to beat Alabama, you got to get better and more physical at the line of scrimmage.
We have a whole lot more here on Tigers Roar. Come back for next segment. We'll look at some highlights from this past weekend. LSU at Tuscaloosa to face the Crimson Tide. It's right here on Tigers Roar. You're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
The winning play is the Buy Here, Sell Here event at the Team Automotive Group. Buy here and save on hundreds of certified and pre-owned vehicles. Or sell here and we'll pay you top value. Buy here or sell here and you'll be the winner at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Hey now, give it your best, but the broken lies to rest. Look up to the skies, I see desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
Welcome back to Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche alongside Buddy Songy. Want to remind you guys, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Talked a lot about LSU, Alabama in the first segment. If you missed that segment, go check us out on our YouTube page. All the Tigers Roars are archived right there for your viewing pleasure. While you're at the page, go ahead and click subscribe, the like, and the notifications button. It'll help us with the algorithm. We certainly appreciate it. Getting back into LSU football, Bud, man, goes into halftime tied 21-21. LSU would get the ball first in the second half. Had to feel good about where the Tigers were, even giving up all those yards to the quarterback on the ground to Alabama. Still, going in tied at half, we kind of talked about it last week. LSU was going to have to outscore Alabama, go score for score. Couldn't really fall behind, and they really had an outstanding first half, all things considered. So depleted on defense. Jaden Daniels was running all around. Started off as good as you could hope for with the long ball to Malik Neighbors. And LSU believed they could win that game going into halftime.
Yeah, and look, I want people to know I'm really not in that pissed off and bad a mood. I just think that everybody's got to realize that defensively, you're not getting your money's worth. There's nothing wrong with Matt House, the person, but he's foggy this year. We go back to the spring, wasted the whole spring trying to make Harold Perkins an inside linebacker. Then you have Whit Weeks come in here and not playing him. Then it took him that many games to put Javian Toviano. Toviano, I loved him. I thought he was one of the best recruits coming in here. It take a little while to get acclimated to this system.
Yeah.
But JP, when you don't make adjustments at halftime, look at the Florida State second half, look at the Ole Miss second half, and now look at the Alabama second half, and you can talk about a couple things there, but horrible adjustments from the coaching. And, oh, by the way, there's symbolization today. I'm black and blue, just like all those fans are. And Brian Kelly wants to talk about elite. You better get your act together and start being a little more I guess you could say hands-on,
right,
because you don't have to be a head coach for 30-something years to know Jalen Milroe should have been taken care of in the second half and spied on. But they still are a ways away. I know we want to push them into Alabama and Georgia area code, but some good things. But, boy, it still has a bad taste in most Tiger fans' mouths. And, I think the Ole Miss loss is what's really – if they were sitting at 2 losses right now, it wouldn't be so bad. You could go 10-2 in regular season. You better not lose to Billy Napier and Florida Saturday night. 6:30 this weekend. The following weekend, Georgia State, 7 o'clock. And then the Aggies come in for the finale. But, JP, I know we'll get into Coach Kelly, but unfortunately, I thought he got a little flustered during the game.
Let's look at some of those highlights in this past Saturday. We'll actually try to go ahead and roll those highlights. But, man, talk about Jaden Daniels, 15 for 24, 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have the 1 interception on a deflected pass. Also, 11 rushes for 163 yards and a touchdown on the ground. But, man, he was dominating. There you go, see, number 4 in the backfield.
First sack. Perkins and Ovio Goff started off good, and then there's the long ball to Malik Neighbors. And once again, those guys have hooked up. He's the second only wide receiver to have back-to-back 1,000-yard receptions yardage.
Didn't think LSU's defense would get many stops, but they got one on the first possession of the game, set up the Tigers, take the early lead 7-0. But unfortunately, Jalen Milroe was just running through the defense all night.
They didn't want to tackle this guy. Now, this is where Toviano made a mistake, and of course, but if you watch from the film, regardless on the replay, they don't want any part of Jalen Milroe, especially the secondary.
Now, Milroe was absolutely looking like Lamar Jackson. Here's another great run right here by Jaden Daniels. Learns to take a seat right there, which I do appreciate. Save yourself some damage, some brutality. Here's another touchdown by the Crimson Tide to take a 14-7 lead. That looked pretty easy for the running back right there. The quarterback. Alabama huge on the offensive line. Knew it would be tough, but that one looked pretty easy at the goal line.
You know, talking about coaching, Alabama certainly ought to be criticized. Look, anytime Jaden Daniels gets in the empty, there's a good chance he's going to have the quarterback draw, and they haven't been able to stop it. Here's J.D. once again. Oh, by the way, J.D. is making a lot of money this year. He will be a high draft pick because pro quarterbacks are now running it more than ever before, J.P.
That's right. Talk about the running game, but man, never really got going. Logan Diggs had 8 rushes for 24 yards. Josh Williams had 4 rushes for 19. Did get the touchdown. We'll talk about the receiving. Neighbors had 10 for 171 and a touchdown. Thomas Jr. had 3 catches for 36. Kyron Lacey had 2 for 39 yards and a touchdown. Mason Taylor had 3 catches for 19 yards. But, man, still looking to get Mason Taylor a little bit more involved. Didn't go to the play that you saw a bunch in the first part of the season where, you know, Mason Taylor runs out into the flat and had the triple option. Didn't see a lot of it. I guess they put it on tape too early. Big miss right there by the Alabama kicker. He had 2 misses in the game. Of course, that enables LSU to tie it up right here, 14-14.
Yeah, got the sack on the defense. Greg Penn made some plays, but once again, here you go with Jaden Daniels getting in. And one thing about that young man, he has given his all. We don't have any updates. We'll get a better update on whether or not he is in concussion protocol. Hopefully he'll be able to play on Saturday. And here's Milroe. Look, nobody wanted to touch him.
Yep.
Nobody wanted a piece of him. He's big, he's fast, he's physical. And unfortunately, the LSU secondary is a little soft and small this year.
LSU did get the ball right before halftime with 1 minute left to go. Jaden Daniels moves the ball all the way down the field. Here's a horse collar that was not called a horse collar.
Imagine that not being called.
Yeah, later in the game, the LSU gets hit with the horse collar, but that was obvious, blatant, and should have been called, but wasn't. LSU able to still get into the end zone to tie it up. Kyron Lacey, great play right there on the ball.
Yeah, great play to get in with 4 seconds left in the half. And you love this. You score before half, and you get the football.
Yeah, you get the football first. LSU's looking to take a lead. They will work it down with a great catch right here by Neighbors. Perfect ball, but on the sideline, got 2 feet in. Does set up this Josh Williams touchdown for LSU to take the lead in the second half. But, man, you got the lead in the third quarter. You have to be excited for the Tigers.
Yeah, 28-21, and Josh Williams well-deserved getting minutes. He plays well against Alabama. As you alluded to, Logan Diggs never got into the flow. But here we go, the bad highlights. And once again, LSU just right up the gut. Where are you, 1? Where are you, 30? Where are you, 4?
Yep.
Linebacker play has left a lot to be desired. I know they lead the team in tackles, but once again, here's missed tackles. And look, Perkins, he's a flea. He's a mosquito on Jalen Milroe right now.
Right. Talking about the defense, Greg Penn led the team with 10 total tackles, had 6 solo, did have a tackle for loss. Harold Perkins had 6 solo, 8 total with a sack. And then Major Burns did have 8 total, 5 solo. Did have that one very nice pass break up in the end zone. Did get shaken up a little bit after his face took a hard shot to the dirt. But, you know, LSU just didn't execute the way they needed to win this game, put themselves in an opportunity, in a position to have a chance at the end. But, man, it's just a few plays here and there. Look, Alabama also did not play perfect. Milroe missed a bunch of throws, wide open touchdown on one right before half. Improvement all across the board for LSU, including in the run game on offense. It's a shame, Bud, man. You look at this rivalry between LSU and Alabama. You go back to the game of the century where there was no touchdowns scored. And now to go to this where the quarterbacks are just running all over the field, scoring points at will. LSU gets 300 yards in the first half, has a lead in the second half, and still gives up two touchdown loss to Alabama. The defense didn't come to play. This isn't the brand of football you're used to seeing from LSU.
Yep, Alabama over 500 yards, 288 yards on the ground, 155 for Jalen Milroe. And here's the kicker, JP. Would Alabama convert on third down?
At one point, 11
to 14.
Yeah, right.
47% of the time, LSU has given up a third down conversion.
Yep.
Now, granted, 57% of the time they convert. 4th and 1, what are you doing calling the play out in the flat? Run the football. Logan Diggs hadn't lost a yard all year long. I know, hindsight's 20/20.
Yep.
But everybody in the country was saying this, and not just locally. Nationally, people are saying, what the hell are they doing with Harold Perkins this year to minimize his impact instead of maximize it? Sorry, LSU coaches, you're not getting it done on defense this year. And BK, you've got to do a better job of overseeing. You know all about this. You see coaching on all three levels, high school, college, and pro. It's always easier to talk about it after the fact. We understand that. But seriously, have you seen these adjustments at halftime? I saw no adjustments at halftime. And 11 and a half minutes in the fourth quarter, Alabama controlled the football because they could.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break here on Tigers Roar. When we come back, we'll hear from the head coach himself, Brian Kelly, his Monday press conference right here on Tigers Roar. You're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
With increased cabin and storage space and class-leading standard safety features, the 4th generation Honda Pilot is simply the largest and best SUV in Honda history. And we have it in stock and on sale. Come save at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
With our largest inventory this year, now's the perfect time to be inspired by our award-winning lineup of Mazdas, all of which have been named IIHS Top Safety Pick Award winners. Save on your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline, a member of the Team Automotive Group.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
continue here on Tigers Roar. Before we get into the Brian Kelly press conference, I want to go back to this past Saturday. One play in particular that is talked about nationwide and made news all over social media was the hit, the targeting that wasn't called against Jaden Daniels. Go ahead and roll that replay, Budman. Let you see it one more time. I mean, to me, it's crown of the helmet to the chin, which is part of the head and neck area, driving forcibly on top of the quarterback. Checks all the boxes for targeting to me. What do you think?
Well, look, I'll just remind LSU fans, in 2018, Devin White was called on a targeting call against Mississippi State.
Yep.
And, of course, because of that, he had to sit out the first half of the next game. You remember the next game?
I certainly do.
It was Alabama.
Certainly I remember.
So I asked the Alabama faithful who live in Baton Rouge, if Harold Perkins did that to Jalen Milroe, do you think it would have been called targeting?
Now, Budman, I'm not going to say the officials cost LSU the game.
No, they did not.
But they absolutely let Alabama take shots at Jaden Daniels. And they added up, and towards the end of the game, guess who was not in the game anymore? Jaden Daniels. I mean, Nussmeier came in. He's not as effective a quarterback in this point in his career as Jaden Daniels. Everybody kind of knows that. LSU was unable to run the ball, so it was totally one-sided. Nussmeier had to drop back and pass. Alabama drops everybody in coverage, and it's tough to move the football. If you cut the head off the snake, just like Greg Williams used to say for the Saints, the body will die.
Well, and now you're connecting the dots.
That's exactly right.
That was Bounty Gate for Alabama.
That's exactly right.
4 quarterbacks had been knocked out by Dallas Turner, and
he almost ripped Jackson Dart's head off his shoulders with the worst face mask you will ever see. Go look Dallas Turner, his face mask on Jackson Dart.
And also he hurt Arkansas quarterback. Look, we're not just talking about physical plays. I had 3 or 4 former players text me between the game ending and this morning, and they all said LSU should have pulled the Glenn Dorsey move on Dallas Turner.
Yep.
And if you don't know what that is, then shame on you.
Yep. Well, I'll let you guys hear from the head coach himself. Here is Brian Kelly, his Monday press conference right here on Tigers Roar.
You know, it's not the outcome that we wanted, but, you know, you look at your football team and you look at, you know, how they prepare and then how they compete. I was proud of the way we competed. Football team went on the road against a top 10 team where you have to play your absolute best to beat a team like Alabama that is, you know, certainly an elite program. But all the tenets and all the principles of, you know, playing this game start about your preparation and then your compete level. You've got to make plays. We got the game into the fourth quarter with a chance to win the game. And unfortunately, we had a deflected pass that set Alabama up on the 25-yard line, which they were able to take advantage of that and extend the game to 14 points. But again, the fight, just the way our guys handled the moment, being in that environment, it's another step that we want to get to. We want to win those games. But again, I was really proud of our football team in the compete level. We've got to coach better in those situations, and we've got to make some more plays, certainly. But I told the team after the game, you know, we did some really good things, but you have to be elite on the road. You have to be elite to beat teams like that, and we're certainly not there yet, but we're closing the gap. And I know nobody wants to hear that. They want to be elite right now, but that team's 45-5 over the last 50 games. They won a national championship, and we're the runners-up. Over the same 50 games, we don't have the same record. But we're going to get there. We're going to get to elite, and we're going to continue to build it and get to that. We need to move on, which we have. Today we'll meet with our football team, and turn the page and get ready for Florida. Great rivalry game, an opportunity to play at Tiger Stadium, and certainly for us, the challenge of winning a football game in the SEC. They're very difficult to come by, and this is a game that has always been closely fought. I think 7 of the last games have been decided by one score. So this will be another great game in Tiger Stadium. I think the things that stand out for me in terms of Florida, some great wins, obviously. The Tennessee win's a great win. The offensive production by Graham Mertz this year, 17 touchdowns, 2,500 yards. He's thrown at 75% completion, outstanding. The running game is as good as there is in the SEC with Johnson and Etienne. And Pearsall and Wilson, the freshmen, 2 outstanding wide receivers. So this is a really good offense. It's really built on the running game, play action. They'll take some shots. They've got really an elusive runner in Wilson when he's got the football in his hands, and then a big play guy in Pearsall. Defensively, again, they're playing a lot of young guys on defense, athletic, and can run to the football. And again, they're looking, to build on some really good performances they've had during the year. So, again, this will be a great matchup, and one that certainly our kids want to be able to, be home in Tiger Stadium against a rivalry game like this. So, with that, we'll open up to questions.
We got Coach here on the right. The status of Jaden Daniels this week and what the plans are for him, and then your thoughts now that on the hit and anything that y'all might review at the office.
Yeah, I think I would consider him day to day. He's going through the injury protocol, and he's made improvements. But this is a process that we'll just have to, see how it plays out from day to day. But I can tell you that he's made some progress. Yeah, look, we want to protect the quarterback, and certainly there was a penalty on the play. Targeting is looked at by the replay officials. They had plenty of time. I think we even went to there was a timeout there as well, so there was plenty of time to look at it. They must have felt that there wasn't targeting. We sent it into the league office because we felt like it checked all the boxes, but again, we want to protect the quarterback here, obviously.
After looking at the tape, anything defensively that maybe you felt schematically you could have helped your team with?
Oh, absolutely. I think you're always looking at things that you can, do over. Hindsight is 20/20, right? Could we have spied the quarterback? Absolutely. There were third down situations that, third and long that clearly we felt like we wanted to be in, more coverage, and we felt like our unit pass rush could keep him in the pocket. That did not prove to be the case. I would say that was probably, the number one thing in terms of if we had to do some things coaching-wise differently, we probably would have employed a spy technique.
Coach, kind of piggybacking off that question, when you're at halftime making defensive adjustments and talking things over, was it the same dilemma on how many do we drop and so forth? And do you feel like you made the proper halftime adjustments?
Yeah, we went out 28-21. We scored first. Again, we got to the fourth quarter, it was 35-28, and, we get a deflected ball. And they end up on the 25-yard line, and that was the difference. They had the ball for 11 minutes to our 3 and change in the fourth quarter. We did not convert a third or a fourth down, on offense, and they converted 2 out of 3 third downs. So we didn't have the ball, and when Jaden went out, we weren't effective and as efficient on the offensive side of the ball. So I don't know that look, we have spy within our package. We didn't utilize it in certain situations that, in retrospect, would have been a great call. So, that's not really a halftime adjustment per se. You have that in your plan. That's just a matter of making that call. I remember clearly writing up on the board, for our football team, in the second half was tackling better. We needed better leverage. Our eyes needed to be better. And I felt like if we did those things, we were going to be in good shape. And then from an offensive standpoint, it was, continue to have the balance that we had.
Brian, down here in the front, just at this point in the season, how would you evaluate the performance of your defensive coaches to this point?
Look, we're playing the players that are best suited to get the time necessary, and I think they're developing. I thought we did a heck of a job battling a big and powerful offensive unit against Alabama. I thought our defensive line was battling and was physical. They didn't knock us off the ball. A lot of their running game, we had one misfit in the B gap, and the quarterback ran on us. So I think coming off a shutout against Army, coming off a really good performance against Auburn, and then the back end of the Missouri game, I think there's been really good progress from a defensive standpoint. That was a team that played very well, and we set their offense up on the 25-yard line, and then we didn't convert a fourth down, which gave them a half field to deal with on a fourth down that we didn't make as well. So overall, as I mentioned, could we have made a couple of calls to get the quarterback spied? Absolutely. But we're making the kind of progress that I need to see from a defensive standpoint.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly's Monday press conference. We'll let you guys hear a little bit more of that press conference in the next segment here on Tigers Roar. Before we take a quick break, we'll remind you guys, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It has everything you want to know about Pelican Broadcasting, all the Clarence Bruggs Show, Tigers Roar, Overtime with Athletic Director Roman Banks from Southern University, that and a whole lot more right there on our YouTube page. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Another quick break. We'll come back and hear from more from Coach Brian Kelly right here on Tigers Roar.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Bruggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bruggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. JP and the Bud Man here at Old School Barbecue, talking some LSU football. In the last time, we let you guys hear from part 1 of Brian Kelly's Monday press conference. And now we're going to let you guys hear part 2. Here's another 7 minutes. Here is head coach Brian Kelly from his Monday press conference right here on Tigers Roar.
Coach, piggybacking off what Wilson just asked, in the offseason, I know it's kind of an offseason deal, how much of a deep dive will you do as far as defensively? And do you think it's a big fix, a little fix, or somewhere in between?
Yeah, we're going to save those questions, and I respect the question, but my focus is on Florida right now and stopping their inside zone game. That really is. I respect the question, and certainly there's going to be a time for those questions, and we'll answer those questions. But my mind is really wrapped around getting another win, playing at a high level, and beating Florida right now.
Just from the running game perspective, outside of Jaden, it just seemed that you guys weren't able to get as much push against Bama. Just what did you see from the run game, and just how do you kind of get that back on track?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got behind. We didn't throw the ball in the fourth quarter, I don't think, at all. Run the ball at all in the fourth quarter. So, I think some of it is, skewed a little bit based upon, the circumstances within the game. Yeah, they're stout. They're physical. We felt like it was going to be one of the better defenses that we have seen. But yeah, I think we'll continue to evolve from an offensive standpoint in terms of looking at things that we can do in the running game. I think they were very stingy, and we'll have to continue to evaluate where we need to go.
How important is this week for Garrett, especially just for the potential that he could start in this game and actually mentally prepare to get those starter reps?
I think every week has been important for him in terms of preparation. Certainly, we're going to make sure that he is ready. There's some things we got to clean up, and he knows it. So, yeah, I would say that he clearly recognizes that there's some things that he's got to do better during practice, and he's up for it, and I'm sure he's excited about it.
Yeah, how will you approach practice this week with Jaden being questionable? And then so much of the talk last week was about the young corners. How do you think they held up?
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll take Jaden's situation, day by day, and we're hopeful and that things continue to move in the right direction. But you always have to prepare yourself for the eventuality of, both quarterbacks playing, and we'll continue to do that. And, Garrett really knows that there's some things that he's got to work on during the week. So I think we'll just be a lot more of a focused, working kind of situation for him in that it's, he's one snap away from getting in the game. I thought Javon Toviano played, solid. Ball got outside the defense one time where his eyes weren't exactly there, but he was physical. He was on body, and for a first start on the road, I would say that we were pleased with his performance. Ashton Stamps got a chance to play as well. He did exactly what we asked him to do when he was out there on nickel, So, two freshmen playing on the road for the first time at Alabama, pretty good baptism for those two young guys.
Coach will be first time coaching after LSU loses to Alabama. A lot of years here in the past, there's been a letdown because a lot of the goals are off the table, winning the Wests. How do you avoid against a letdown? What do you tell your team this week?
It's the same thing about, what last week was about. It wasn't an emotional week. It was a preparation week for us. So this week will be the same. We need to prepare. Listen, it goes to what I said. Like, if we want to be elite, we have to be consistent. We won 10 games last year. You need to win 10 again. And that's in front of you. So you have an opportunity to win 10 games again this season. And if you want to start closing the gap towards being elite, then back-to-back 10-win seasons starts to do that. So it's a challenge to our football team in terms of how do you want this program to continue to grow. It's on your shoulders, and you have an opportunity to continue to get better. Coaches need to get better, and players clearly need to get better. And so this is a great opportunity, playing a really good opponent at home, and you've got a chance to move from being a good team to being a great team.
I guess that was kind of my question. Today, people debate what games like this or the games mean moving forward, but 10-3 in your book, obviously much better than 8-5 or what have you, right? Is it harder to get that message across to them in today's college football?
Look, to me, I always break it down by not the wins and losses. It's about who do you want to be. You have choices, right? You can be bad at things if you want to be bad at things. You can be average at things, 500's average. You can be good at things. Maybe that's 7 or 8 wins. You can be great or elite. I think we can be so much better than good. We can be great. And great requires more of a commitment. And so they're going to have to give more this week. The coaches are going to have to give more. The players are going to have to give more. So if you're not interested in being great or elite, you have choices to make. I want to be around great. I want to be around elite, because that's what this program. I didn't come down to LSU to be good. I came here to be elite. And our players that sign scholarship papers here, I'm sure they do it because they want to be elite too. I know our fan base doesn't want good. I can tell already that that's not the case. It's about being elite. So these are weeks where you're talking about, why are you here? I know why I'm here. Why are you here? We're here on this chase to be elite. And so this week is going to require you to work on these things totally, physically, technically, tactically, mentally, if you want to be elite.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly, talking about being elite, not just good. Good is not good enough for Baton Rouge, for LSU Tiger fans, for Coach Brian Kelly or the team. But, man, one thing I want to talk about before we move on to the NFL. After the game, they had a kind of live mic situation. Nick Saban talking to wide receiver for LSU Tigers, Aaron Anderson, who did transfer from Alabama to LSU. And Nick Saban told him, look, guy, you've been playing more for us than you are over there. I think Nick Saban had a point, bud, man. Aaron Anderson not being utilized. Offense is great. We need to find a way to get Aaron Anderson the ball.
Look, I hate to keep beating this horse until you got to take it out back and shoot it. But, Aaron Anderson was supposed to be an explosive punt returner, and now LSU fan base has had to be relegated to just being happy with a guy that fair catches it and doesn't fumble it. Now, they only had one punt return, and I think Bramblin only punted twice for LSU. Not a lot of punts in this game.
Yep.
Aaron Anderson has definitely been underutilized this year. And, folks, I'm not trying to throw around F-bombs here, but a lot of foggy coaching this year. Not a lot of development. Play the best players. Give them a chance regardless if they're a freshman or a senior. And if you don't realize you got a spy and use Harold Perkins differently, I don't know what to tell you, JP.
LSU will face Florida this Saturday at home, Tiger Stadium. LSU did drop in the polls to number 18. The kickoff will be 6:30 SEC Network. We'll take another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and talk some New Orleans Saints right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Who dat?
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
If you're in the market for a full-size pickup that's packed with power, fun to drive, and loaded with features, then get ready to make memories driving the new Toyota Tundra. Come see the truck that's made for adventure at Team Toyota, I-12 at O'Neill.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we appreciate you tuning into this last segment of Tigers Roar. Don't forget to check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. But, man, it's now time to talk about some NFL, some New Orleans Saints. So the shades come off. The Saints are now 5-4 atop the NFC South, which happens to be the worst division in football. But, hey, the winner of the division still goes to the playoffs. You win, and everybody's happy down in New Orleans. So the Houtats, they finally put it together against a very bad Chicago Bear team on defense anyway. They had the 5 turnovers. Paulson and Debo had 2 interceptions. The forced fumbled. We do have some highlights from the game. We'll ask the truck to go ahead and roll those. But, man, once again, Taysom Hill, huge contribution on offense, had a touchdown on the ground, and he had a passing touchdown. But this game was all about the defense. Great tackle right there.
Early. Yeah, big defense early. And, of course, this is a rookie quarterback who, unfortunately, here's your first INT, and this is a Debo trying to make something after he catches it.
Yeah, where are you going, Adebo? That's what Tyrann Mathieu was saying. Where are you going? But then he realized, hey, it's a turnover. Go celebrate in the end zone. Saints started this trend. You see a lot of teams doing it now, but this is a great play by Paulson Debo, who really had a coming-out party this past Sunday.
And look, anytime you get 5 takeaways, you're supposed to win the football game. So we'll see if they get a little bit better when they get inside the red zone.
Yeah, Derek Carr still having a lot of struggles in the red zone, so he did have a nice pass right there to Chris Olave. It should be Shaheed, who found a way to get open at the goal line. Olave ran right next to him. They had kind of a very similar body type. So, yeah, it was Olave. They showed Shaheed dancing, but it was Olave. He got the score.
Shaheed has been a big part of it. Olave's been a little bit of a disappointment for the first 2 years from Ohio
Yeah,
State.
Derek Carr went 25 for 34, 211 yards, did have 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Taysom Hill went 1 for 1 for 3 yards for the touchdown. But on the ground, Taysom Hill, 11 carries, 52 yards. Alvin Kamara didn't look great in this game, 9 carries for 26.
And, of course, once again, the Bears are a hot mess as a franchise. Justin Fields still not healthy. Here's Taysom Hill, and probably, to me, he's the MVP of this football team right now.
Yeah, I totally agree, Bud, man.
On offense, for sure.
All the roles he plays, yeah, including what he does on the offensive side of the ball. Defenses know he's going to run the ball when he's in the shotgun. Doesn't matter. He runs them over, and right there, playing that slot tight end role, does a great job. Turning his head around to the quarterback, getting into the end zone. Touchdown, Saints.
People don't realize how big Taysom Hill is until you stand up next to him side by side. He is a big man, big, fast man. And, oh, by the way, early 30s because of his commitment before he became a Saint.
A familiar face right there. Cam Jordan getting a hit on the Chicago Bears quarterback who struggled all game long. Here's a screen pass to Kamara, who goes for nice yardage. Kamara did well catching the ball at the backfield, but still a struggle with that offensive line for the Saints.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Offensive line has been a weak point for the Saints all year long, but they're hoping here's one of those guys.
Yep.
Catch, forced fumble, and a recovered fumble for the Saints. And here's one of the problems JP and I were talking about off the air.
Yeah, Groupie did make this one. Of course, both kickers in the game did bang one off the uprights. So, yeah, Groupie, you got rid of Will Lutz. You get rid of Will Lutz. Groupie looked great in the preseason. Only missed 1 kick all preseason, but he's come down back down to earth, and it's been kind of a struggle for the Saints.
Unfortunately, I changed his name after missing more field goals to Grumpy because he's made a lot of people grumpy. But Groupie is a rookie, and we understand he's going to have his moments. But right now, it looks like they made the wrong decision. Once again, Taysom Hill doing what he does best. Getting the first down, JP.
This game was all about the defense, Bud, man. Chicago's been struggling mightily all season long. It's been tough for them to win games. Then they lose Justin Fields. They expected him to get back for this game. It didn't happen. They had to go with Bajent. He threw a bunch of interceptions. Paulson Debo had to knock the forced fumble. And right here, Taysom Hill, all the defense thinks he's going to do is run, but pulls it back. Wide open to Juwan Johnson. Great score right here for the Saints to take the lead late in this ball game.
Hey, look, it's not whether you win pretty or ugly. It's a W, and the Saints lead the division now at 5-4, as we know. Here's Taysom Hill. He's got a big arm, JP, and, of course, that's his first touchdown, 83 all year long. Couldn't believe that.
I think he's been the first guy in a long time. I forget who the last one was to have 10 rushing, 10 passing, and 10 receiving touchdowns. There's only been like one other guy to do it. Forgive me, I don't remember who the player was, but Taysom Hill, certainly a special player for the New Orleans Saints.
All right, folks, LSU, Florida, 6:30. Got to beat Billy Napier and the Gators. That game on the SEC Network. Next week, by the way, LSU, Georgia State, 7 o'clock on ESPN2. Ole Miss at Georgia, a big one this weekend.
We certainly appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Tigers Roar. Don't forget to check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. For Marty, our floor director, for Katie and 18 the truck, he's the Bud Man. I'm JP, and you've been watching Tigers Roar.